welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Rise and Shine, and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. On Rise and Shine, we bring you topical issues happening around the country this morning.
Our guest is ready. Let's look at the gloomy state of our aviation sector. What seems to really be the problem? We have Chidebere Ohadoma. He's joining us from the US. He is so many things in the aviation sector: aviation ground instructor and chief ground instructor for Universal School of Aviation. He is also a quality and safety manager for GYROL Limited, and of course the flight dispatcher Nigeria CAA and FAA. He's also aircraft maintenance engineer, and a whole lot attached to his profile this morning. Good morning, Chidebere. I'm saying good morning because it's morning in Nigeria, so forgive me, please. I'll have to say good morning.
It's fine. It's also morning here. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning.
Okay.
It's just the early hours of the morning here.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So, we also have Uyai here. So, Uyai.
Good morning, Chidebere. Very good to have you on set this morning with us. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so let's talk aviation. A lot of issues are going on. I would even like to lean back as far as Hadi Sirika's purchase of 10 trucks to the tune of how many trillion naira now?
$20 billion.
I think it was, yes, 20 billion naira, thereabouts. I'll confirm those figures. But for me, I would say that the trouble started from there, because if I were to be an aviation worker and I see the person at the helms of affairs buy us 10 trucks for one singular airport in the country to the tune of billions, and then certain other infrastructural needs and welfare needs that have continued to be requested for have not been handled, we probably would have actually gone to the street, to tender our issues. So let's just look over, overall, what is really happening in the aviation sector. If we did not run from the what's the fuel now?
Jet A1.
Jet A1. If it was not a Jet A1 issue, now we are coming to the fact that flight activities are grounded nationwide, especially in Lagos. Of course, they are pushing to take that extension to other states because of certain irregularities in the system. What's happening in your sector?
Aviation, my home. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, viewers all over the world. This issue has been around for about 8 years now. So while the new administration came in, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, while the new administration came in, the aviation body spoke to the administration. They needed a review in the remuneration package. Now, the reason is they pay the parastatal the way they pay the civil servants, but a pilot is earning 6 digits and he comes to the parastatal, you're paying him maybe 5 digits or you're paying him 4 digits, and what he's doing in his own calculation, he considered that payment below expectation. The current administration made so many promises to the industry. Okay, we're going to review this, we're going to review this, and it's always, we are working on it, until the truck issue came up. Now, when the current administration used that huge sum to purchase truck, the industry is like, okay, you said that you don't have money, and now you're buying this amount of truck for this amount that you declared. So that means there's money somewhere. That is one. Second, the administration did something that a lot of us in the industry didn't consider wise. Lagos is the operational hub. Every parastatal, the operational arm of every parastatal is based in Lagos. NCA, for instance. if you want to get to process your license is in Lagos. You want to do major things like urgent, you could do it in Lagos. Now you want to move the NCA from Lagos to Abuja. You move all the headquarters to Abuja. So I have something to do. I will drop my letter in Lagos with all your bureaucracy. That letter will go around Lagos, then go to Abuja for the director to sign, send it back to Lagos for the Lagos people to activate. So for we in the industry, a process that's supposed to take me 2 days end up taking me 2 weeks. In fact, for me, for one, I wrote to the authority, like, I do not understand what is happening here. This process is delaying. So you are forcing people to come to Abuja, and now you say you want to demolish the office in Lagos. We originally were suffering the fact that you're moving things to Abuja, where the hub is in Lagos. It doesn't make any operational sense, if you understand what that means. So why do you want to do that? What's the rationale behind that? There's none. AIB was destroyed. The facility for AIB that used to be in Lagos was destroyed. But till date, nothing significant has happened on the property that you destroyed. Yet you want to destroy other facility. It doesn't make any rational. It doesn't make any sense to the airmen in the industry. Hence, people needed to voice out. Listen, sir, you cannot do this. Even if you want to do this, what is the plan? Make us understand what your plans are, so we see if it's something we can key into, but you're not doing that. Second, the remuneration you promise, nothing has been done. So what are the plans? So the question is, what is the plan?
Okay,
And they are not
let's come back a
sticking
bit. Let's come back a bit, sir. Now, when you say that, part of what you are kicking against is the demolition of the agency's headquarters, the aviation agency's headquarters in Lagos, and taking it to Abuja. I remember also that there's been a lot of demolition going on in the aviation sector in our airports. Now, one of which is even the demolition of private hangars, in our airports. And don't you also think that this is more like tilted to revamping the Nigerian airports across the country?
Okay, let me I will answer that with a
Because why
question.
I have a problem
Do we
now is where I also have a little bit of problem is why the government is not outrightly telling the aviation sectors and its workers this is the major reason why we are demolishing the agency's headquarters or taking it to Abuja. But don't you also think that in line with all the revamping that is ongoing across airports in the country, this is part of it? We add it up, sum it all up with the 12 billion naira fire trucks that was acquired recently.
Anyway, I do not think so. This is my personal opinion. I do not think so.
Okay.
I will answer that with a question: which government-owned airports, has been efficient? Do we have any?
That's a big question.
MMA2 seem to be more efficient than international airport. Legend, the private hangar, seems to be more efficient than even the international airport. So why not team up with the private sectors and make something meaningful? Why destroy it? That would be the only way I could answer that question. The new terminal building that was built, certain aircraft cannot use it, but we spend billions building that airport.
So it's a matter of waste. Would we say that?
For me, it's just a waste. It's just a waste.
Okay, so is a 12 billion naira invested in acquiring 10 fire trucks also a waste? Because the airports need it. The airports need it.
If you give me 12 billion, I will not get you 12 trucks. I think I could get you more than 20. That's the truth.
So the problem is in the amount that we are, spending to solve problems, or we are saying we
are
use.
spending, yeah.
Yes, because I mean that was part of the controversies that trailed that particular purchase by Hadi Tirika, and like you said, it makes the aviation workers raise an eyebrow. Oh, so you have this amount of money to spend on fire trucks. Let's not even forget that certain parts of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, which seems to be, of course, is the hub, is the generator of all of this conversation, are not working, and a fraction of this 12 billion could have put that particular airport flying at this time. But let me lean on something that Janice was talking about. Some of these moves might look like they are geared towards expanding the aviation sector in the country. But I have a question. Why pull down private hangars of for people,
Yeah.
all of
Private
that,
jet owners.
private jet owners? I think number one, that was a form of revenue generator for the aviation sector. So when you say you're destroying that to expand the airport right there, what's going to happen to that angle as a revenue generator? What are your thoughts?
When a snake chooses to eat her tail, at first the snake thinks she's feeding herself. By the end of the day, the snake will kill herself. That is what is about to happen.
That's worrisome. Okay. So while you're still, I know you're trying to put some more words together with the silence, but then let's also look at the impact it's having on, that silence.
The whole challenge is taking a toll on him right now.
It rang a really loud bell. But when you stretch into that, also look at how these affect our foreign investors in the aviation industry. All of this back and forth, let's move the headquarters to Abuja, let's break this. How is it affecting foreign direct investment in aviation?
Okay, the truth is that the foreign investors are scared. They are very uncertain what the future of the industry holds, and as such, nobody wants to bring fund into the industry. So, hopefully, the new administration will do something nice. But as it stands, even if I'm a foreigner, I would not want to invest in the industry at the moment.
I think we'll just quickly hang in there. We'll just quickly take this call now. Let's listen to what the caller has to say. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Okay, that's definitely that's not a call for us. It must have been, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we just delve back into our aviation conversation.
Okay, so for me, I think that aside from workers demanding for welfare, the aviation industry in itself has a lot of issues. Just like we're trying to address some of them now, demolition of private hangars that is supposed to be generating funds for the aviation sector and all of that. We also are coming from the end of the scarcity of Jet A1, where prices of flight tickets, skyrocketed and all of that. But let's look at deeply into some more of the challenges that we are facing in the aviation sector, aside from the ones we have mentioned earlier on in the course of the conversation. Would we say that there are other things that Nigerians do not know that is affecting the aviation sector? Of course, you've also mentioned waste of resources, where you're supposed to be using a particular amount to acquire this, and then there's the whole inflation in the prices of those things and all of that. But just let us into some of these issues challenging the aviation sector that we may not necessarily know as Nigerians.
Okay, let me just start with this. With regards to truck, Innocent manufactures cars, correct?
Correct.
Innocent builds SUVs. Innocent builds truck. So how come Innocent didn't do that vehicle? Probably cheaper. In recent time, you could also read on papers that they want to give you free Wi-Fi in the airport. And did you see the amount they were marking for Wi-Fi? You go outside the shore of Nigeria, take it to your neighboring country, Ghana. When you get to the airport, you have free Wi-Fi. You go to the airside in Ghana, if your pin drops to the floor, you're going to hear the sound. Do you have same in Nigeria? Do we have laws controlling noise? Yes. Do we implement them? No, until someone who is not on the good book of the government now wants to be picked on, that law will come in force. So the problem we have is we have fantastic laws, we have fantastic regulations that are not properly implemented. The industry would be viable if only we choose to implement the laws that we have. NCAT, Nigerian College of Aviation Technologies area, has a simulator. The simulator for NG. People that use NG in Nigeria, do they go to NCAT for their simulator training? I doubt. Couldn't the authority have, we have major guys now currently we have more people using the Embraer 145, we have people using the CRJ, we have the classic aircraft Boeing in the country. Couldn't government bring in the simulator, partner with private individuals, and have everybody and people around our neighboring African countries come and train in Nigeria? That will bring in more forex for us. So why are we not doing that? Because you need to let these things go out so that people in government can go for inspection and you pay them huge per diem and you buy them business class. So this way, the demand for forex is high. And the importers are not having enough forex to do imports. Next question, are we even supposed to be importing Jet A1? How many refineries do we have? What the promise that this current administration gave us with regards to refinery? So if we're refining our own product, would we have issue with forex in regards Jet A1? So our problem is internal. Our problem is now. Let me digress a bit. Yesterday I visited the Disney World, and I was just looking at what someone that God created we together sat down to think. And I'm wondering, my own leaders, they come here, pay for express entry, and they are not thinking expressly to improve our lives. So the major problem we have is people in power failing to implement the right thing. So the right laws are there, but it's not properly implemented, and that's why we're in this mess.
So when we are talking implementation of laws, the agency, the aviation workers, the all of the IATAs, all of those other agencies under the aviation industry, what is your part to play in guaranteeing that some of these policies that you have said are good are implemented? Because I think to a very large extent, agencies have a part to play. I mean, if you say that there are certain, you have a stimulator in Zaria, but people do not go to Zaria to check, get their stimulators done. Why is the agency not checking on that line themselves? I don't think this is something that we need a minister of the Federal Republic to come and implement. It just takes the overseers of the agency in the industry to make sure that people are following certain guidelines. So let's talk about implementation of policies as it behooves on the agencies in the aviation sector.
Okay. Let me cite that simulator for instance again. If I have a simulator, I personally cannot use it unless I have approvals to use it.
Where is the
So
approval
the
going to
industry
come
is so
from?
regulated.
Where is the approval
The
going to
approval
come
has to
from?
come from the approval has to come from first the government, second the authority, which is the NCA. All right. Third, would I want to send my foreign crew to Zaria considering the insecurity? Do I want to risk that? Whose responsibility is it to secure that environment? So the basic things that are supposed to be put in place are not there. So what would the agency do?
Okay, so let's just say you're citing one, and we can see all the loopholes with regards to the simulator. So the simulator is just one thing that that we have in the mix. Let you have more knowledge in terms of other aspects where the agencies in the aviation can pin down. Are you still saying that either way you're still going to have a governmental encumbrance, security get in the way, another infrastructural issues in the country getting in the way of the agencies, impacting on implementation?
That's correct.
So it's more
We need
like you have
fear.
the
We need
aviation.
fear. You need to use your Nigerian own products. Who will do that? Government. What's the process to get a refinery a license? Who
So,
issues it? Government. The enabling environment has to be given by the government. Then every other person can latch onto it. So
Okay,
if
so
government is not giving you the enabling environment, there's nothing you can do. Absolutely nothing.
I like the fact that you've been able to mention some of the deficits, or deficiencies happening in the aviation sector. You've talked about private government partnership. You've talked about corruption. You've talked about policies, good policies, but no implementation. But the one that catches my interest now is what you talked about, when you try to say that government should even patronize itself rather than taking the few monies that we say we have, to other countries to be able to purchase other things. Now, you made mention of the fire trucks. It can be constructed or manufactured in Nigeria. Why don't we manufacture it in Nigeria? You're plunging back that money that you're investing in another country. You're plunging it back into your own economy to grow your economy. And then you've also talked about the fact that the Jet A1 can actually be produced here in Nigeria as well if our refineries are working. But I know that, taking my mind back now to one of those times that the aviation industry went on strike because of the Jet A1, there was conversations on allowing the unions to scout for the Jet A1 themselves. How far have that gone? Has it been able to be put to rest in terms of government collaboration, allowing you to source for Jet A1 yourself?
No, for now, is you have to patronize the marketer. Government has not issued license to airline operator owners to import jet fuel themselves, unfortunately.
Okay, so let's even look at the way forward, because I like when we are able to like pick out some of these loopholes and great challenges. But sometimes when we talk about the challenges like this, it seems as if there's no light at the end of the dark
We
tunnel.
just sound
But
helpless.
but again, it wouldn't be good if we do not see light at the end of the dark tunnel, because hope is the only last resort of man. Okay, so I think there's hope. So what are the way forward? Let's see, how do we get out of all of these issues? I hope
Government should be
now when we say way forward, we should go beyond
Just the
governments.
government.
Leaning from what Uyai has said, we also have unions, we have bodies in the aviation sectors. What is your role to play to make sure that we move forward? What is government's role to play to make sure that we also move forward? It's intertwined, we know, but let's see how we can categorically say that union, this is what you're supposed to do. Government, this is your own part to play.
okay. For let me start with the government. The government has to do the needful. One of the right thing to do is to ensure that the right person is in the right place, doing the right thing. If you get a square peg and you put that square peg in a round hole, there will be leakages, right? So the government has to do that. Second thing the government has to do is provide security, provide enabling environments. The government has to believe in herself. The people in government have to believe in themselves. Now, if you do not believe in yourself, how would people believe in you, right? So patronize yourself. Let's start from there. Then the union will now learn to understand the government and help communicate the plan of the government to the people. And as such, there will be synergy between the government and the people, because as it stands, the union is the intermediary between the staff or the people and the government in the industry. So government must learn to communicate more. Before you do this, you don't have the right people there, for instance. Discuss with the union. Union brings it down to the Congress. People will give you their own professional advice. Then the government will filter through to say, okay, which way will be best for us. But don't just wake up from the one side of your bed and just decide you want to get something for the industry, even if it's not necessary. We have airports in Nigeria that you cannot go to after sunset. People can't go on the road because of insecurity. Who is supposed to provide the lightning system? Is the government. Now, if all those places are active, there will be more revenue in these areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all this is the basis is the government. Then that's the foundation. Then the building block will be the union. So if the foundation is messed up, then there's no point building anything.
Okay, so you seem to government. Let's hear what is the little that the union can do, because government can bring up these policies. We will not also agree, sit here and say that the union does not have a problem, or even those in the union are not, some of them are not square pegs in round holes or square pegs in triangle holes. Like, for example, I give you an example now. Excuse me, sir. I give you an example. If you go to some airports, you see that their toilet facilities are in shambles. I remember one time that it was even everywhere on social media, where you find airports leaking, literally leaking, as if the rain was pouring in torrents inside the airport. So these are not things that the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, should come and do, or even His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, when the airports are generating their funds. So please, let's know what the agency is going to do too.
Okay. In other clans, you have people responsible for taking care of this facility, right? In Nigeria, for each passenger that pass through each airport, the airline operator takes out a certain amount as maintenance fee and pay to the government. So if I've given you this money, you claim you want to use it to keep the facility maintained, and you are not doing it, we come to you to tell you, you say we're on it. So what should I come fighting you to shut down what you're supposed to be doing? As you fly, each time you fly, a certain percentage goes to NCA from your ticket.
And these are agencies of airports. These are agencies. So why is NCA or whatever union or body is in charge of some of these little things in the airport not doing their job?
Delivering?
Why are they not delivering?
Don't forget that the money goes to the single treasury account, and so many signatures needs to be on that document to release the money for those services.
So there's a whole lot of bureaucratic bottlenecks.
Exactly. So why not sublet that aspect to maybe a private sector, so we know who is responsible for that. The cleaner you're employing in the airport, a lot of them come to the airport because somebody in power recommended them, and they come to the airport and they are doing touting. If you talk to that cleaner, you will lose your job because that cleaner seems to be more powerful than you are.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
So you see, it's still the government issue. Sublet that arm to an agency to say, okay, this private individual, you are responsible for this. So if anything goes wrong, we know it's this company that is responsible for this. And these people let the masses know here you subcontract the cleaning to an agency, but that agency seems to be even more powerful than even the airline
Okay,
because of who
very
you
quickly
recommended
now,
the
I
contract.
think our time is up, but very quickly, let's even come back to the industrial action. We're still having it persist. Negotiation is ongoing. Do we see any light at the end of the dark tunnel concerning some of these negotiations being made as to the industrial actions?
Yes, the NCA, the DGCA, Captain Nuhu has stepped in. He's someone I respect. He's someone I admire so much. He stepped in and he's spoke to the union. I believe that things will come. He's someone that if he gives you his word, he tries to follow through. So, having given his word, we're believing that he will likely follow through. So, I see bright light at the end. Yeah.
So there's
Okay.
great hope that this is going to end well for both the aviation workers and the federal government, because I think that the two parties involved in this particular tussle, right?
I
Okay,
hope so. I hope so.
okay.
I like the fact that you ended with a broad smile on your face when you said that
And
there's hope somewhere for Nigeria and Nigerians as well.
it
Yeah.
means that also the said Captain Nuhu has to be commended, because I mean it looks like he brought up the smile on your face. You believe in the things he can do. But we have to say a really big thank you to you, Chidebere, this morning for coming on the show and giving us your wealth of knowledge on the issue on ground. Of course, we've been speaking to Chidebere Ohadoma, who himself is a multi what do we call it in the police,
Multi-dimensional, when it has to do
multi-ranked aviation
aviation
yes
worker.
worker. So that's how we put it, because if we read the fact that they're a flight dispatcher, aircraft maintenance engineer, NDT level
A
2
whole lot.
engineer, you are everything awesome for the industry, and we do hope that the industry can do right by you and the rest of your colleagues at this time, so that the aviation industry can become a hub. The Nigerian aviation industry can actually become a hub for Africa. Thank you very much for coming this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All
All
right. Do
right.
enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh,
Sure, thank
serious
you.
issues, serious concerns as it concerns the aviation industry. And then when you listen to some of those things, you begin to wonder, where are we going as
Where
a
are we headed?
country? Why is no institution working in the country as it is? But thank God there's hope, which is the last resort or last instrument of man. So we'll just hold on to that and be of good cheer as well, like the Bible would tell Christians.
Well, we are going to overcome these issues in
Yeah, we'll
Nigeria.
definitely overcome these issues. But this is where we draw the curtains on the show today. It's been a wonderful time. We will keep talking about Nigeria, no doubt about it. And this is just to bring out some of the issues and challenges we're facing as a country. No country in the world does not have challenges, but how do we solve those challenges is another very important issue. But it's been a lovely ride, I must say, and we'll definitely see you again tomorrow for another edition of Rise and Shine Daily. My name is Janice Coburn. Do have a great day.
I am Uyai and thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who called in and to our production crew. Let's do this again tomorrow. Bye bye.